Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with the Seattle legend, to the point that family friends, family members, other artists that I've told about this interview have been super, super excited. Like the generations that this man has touched in Seattle is uncomparable, and I'm just excited and honored to have this man in a Third Wheel podcast studio here today with me. He recently dropped a new album called Born in '86. Let's get right into this one. It's my pleasure to have the one and only Grynch.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you having me, man. I'm glad we've been talking for a little while. I'm glad we were finally able to make it happen and link up.
It's been at the I met you at what show was that? It was
the Mers show. Mers at Nectar.
So how did you become this Seattle entity that I want to get into your background, of course, but how did you get to this point where like all of these just artists in the industry just know who you are? Like, I've heard that like when like people like Mers come to town, they're like hitting you up to come down to their shows, and you guys are all like close. On your new album, you had Cocaine, Daz Dillinger.
I mean, it's just I've been around a long time, man. It's just over the years, man. Things just met a lot of people. Kept in contact, kept good relationships with folks over the years, man.
That's true, because I feel like that's one thing I have learned. Not to say you're an older artist. You're young.
No. I'm closer to 40 than I am, 30 now, man. So it's all good.
I feel like older artists have this thing where they do stay connected, though, which I think people can learn from.
I think it's almost like it's just camaraderie.
Yes.
And all that kind of stuff over the years,
Camaraderie, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. That's what I've been really pushing with the podcast is It's all about community. I have as much to learn from you as I feel like you can from me. You know what I mean?
Let's do it, man.
Yes, sir. So let's start the origins of Grynch. How did you get started in hip hop? And you're born and raised Seattle, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I mean, I kind of got into hip hop just the same way, so many others did, just hearing stuff on the radio, just things of that nature. And in elementary school, this kid named Vu, he let me borrow a copy of his brother's tape of The Chronic. Mm-hmm. And I, took it home and was listening to it. And I was like, man, I like this because all these cuss words, man. It feels like something I'm not supposed to be listening to.
Right.
And, from there, I just, just started listening to more and more hip hop as I was able to discover it. And, just eventually started trying to, thinking I could rap myself.
When's the first time you think you ever tried to rap?
Probably about like 9 or 10.
Okay.
It was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing. A lot. It was mainly me just trying to say as many cuss words as I possibly could. But and just from there it was just the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by the time I was in middle school, for one, I think it was like Christmas, like 7th grade. My parents actually got me a Tascam 4-track Porta Studio, and my dad had a whole bunch of music equipment. And all that kind of stuff. My dad played the piano, the accordion, all kinds of stuff. He was a music guy himself.
Yeah. That's a random one, the accordion.
Yeah, man. Norwegian, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and he so he kind of helped me figure out how to hook up the Porta Studio and stuff, and he had a couple of cruddy mics and stuff like that. But actually before that though, my grandpa Ed gave me a boombox when I was young, and so I figured out from there, how I could take a cassette tape and you put Scotch tape over the little squares on the top of it so you could record over it, Okay. 'Cause I didn't really have any blank cassettes. And so then I borrowed another boombox from the neighbor kid. And so I had accumulated some, cassette singles that had the B-side that had the instrumental on it.
Oh, okay.
And so I used one boombox to play the instrumental in the background, and then I used the other one to put the tape in to record it, and it had an internal microphone on it. And so I would just record it, and you would hear the beat playing in the background. You just got me sitting by the microphone on the boombox trying to rap. And that was kind of like the earliest, of me messing around. But then when I got, the task cam in middle school, I actually kind of, learned to actually like record a little bit and, wrote stupid stuff, wrote a song about one of my girlfriends in middle school, all kinds of, just real cheesy stuff. But yeah, I mean, and then from there, by the time I got to high school, it was just more about, just freestyling and this, that, and all that kind of stuff, and battling and all that kind of stuff. And
so you're a battle rapper?
Briefly, I got a real brief history of battling. It was more so just like you would be at, like keggers and stuff, and everybody be freestyling and battling and all that kind of stuff. And then I think late 2003, it was my senior year of high school. My guy Sonny Bonaho, you know Sonny? Yeah, he used to throw these events called Mad and Mike, Mad and Mike and Glitter. It was like hip hop showcases, freestyle battles, all that kind of stuff. And so I went to Mad and Mike. I think it was the second one he did at the end of 2003, and there was a freestyle battle, and I went down there with my buddy Steve and my buddy Josh. And like they convinced me to like enter the freestyle battle and all that kind of stuff. And because I was like, I don't know, man. And I got up there, I didn't win the whole thing, but I beat the first dude. And I didn't end up winning like the entire battle. But one of the judges for it was Big Psych, from Thug Life, so Pac's boy. And I remember he came up to me that night and was like, man, you're gonna be all right, man.
And this was in Seattle?
Yeah, I was in Seattle at the original Vera Project.
Oh,
down
shoot.
there on 4th and Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, like when you used to have to walk up the stairs.
Wow.
To get up to it. Yeah, and and then from there, ended up doing like my senior project in high school, and I decided I wanted to do a CD for that. So a couple of the homies from school, my buddy Jihad, and my guy Elliot, and a couple other people. Sonny did one of the beats on it, but I put together like a 7-song EP that I recorded at Sonny Bonaho's house. Because Sonny actually, after that battle, I was like, I had to find like a mentor for this project,
right? And
I was like, I don't know, I didn't really know anybody in the scene like that. I knew people, people who were rappers and stuff who from Seattle in the scene, but I didn't like have any like solid connections. So I was like, man, maybe this guy can be my my mentor for this thing. And reached out to him, and he was like, hey, I recorded the whole project over at his place. We did the photo shoot for the cover and all that stuff. And
so you had like real producers for this one then?
Yeah. You mean homies from high school, but yeah, they were making real beats for me. Wow. And yeah, pressed up. Sonny got 100 copies of it pressed up for me, and went back to school with him and sold them all that day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I sold them all for $5 a pop, man. And I walked out of school with $500 in my pocket. I felt like I was stupid rich, man. I mean,
damn.
Yeah. So it was good, man. And then from there I just it's evolved and got more and more entrenched in the local scene, and yeah, now it's been like almost 20 years later.
Damn. That's craziness.
Yeah.
So I was watching a previous interview, and at that time you were saying there was no meaning to the name Grynch. Over the years, has there evolved a meaning to the name?
No. I mean, a lot, and I've told this story before, but how the name Grynch came up was my buddy Josh, one of the guys I went to that the Mad and Mike battle with. He you remember, about AOL Instant Messenger. I'm over here dating myself here. But I remember one night he was just, sending me a whole bunch of random like rap names. He's like, you need a rap name. I didn't really have one. I was just John, that guy who raps. And he threw out a bunch of random names, and Grynch with the Y was the one that I was like, all right, let's roll with that. It's cool, but I don't know. I don't love it. We'll use it. I'll use it for the time being. And I was like, I'll probably change it at some point.
Yeah.
But, here I am.
Were you like ever a fan of like the Grinch Who Stole Christmas though?
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely watched the old cartoon when I was a kid and stuff. Yeah.
Like, so how much you probably got a lot of that though? Like, oh, there's the Grinch Who Stole Christmas or something. Like, did that ever like get on your nerves?
Man, I had some. I ordered something to eat the other day, and the guy dropped off my order, and And he was like, yeah, you know, man, you can't steal Christmas without your food. I'm like, oh my God. Man. I mean, I've heard, you know, yeah. No, I've definitely, I've heard, you know, all the Grinch jokes over the years. It is what it is.
Dead. But have you ever dressed up as the Grinch? That's what the audience wants to know.
No, sir. No. And I try, and I've always been like, man, I don't want to be out here making Christmas songs and all that kind of stuff. But I did make an exception when Vitamin D hit me up and asked me to get on a song called How to Rob Santa for the Stay High Brothers Christmas Trees album with him and Maniac B. And I had to do that one.
Hell yeah.
Because, I mean, it's Vitamin, man. You know, Vita calls you to get on the record, man. I mean, come on.
He's on your new album, too, Born in 86.
Yeah, he produced the track on there and did some scratches as well.
Hell yeah. So by high school, did you know this was something you wanted to take seriously?
Yeah, I mean, it was something I was like, I was just kind of off to the races, just like, let me, you know, who knows where this will go. It's been going good so far. That was where I was at. I was like, man, you know, it's going good. Why not just keep pushing?
And when did you first join the Seattle music scene? Because everyone has a story where they maybe were on the outskirts, they're doing stuff in high school, maybe knew about some artists that were part of the scene. But what was your introduction to the Seattle music scene?
Oh man, like one where I felt like okay, I feel like I'm actually like legit like a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to say at Bumbershoot 2007, when the Blue Scholars performed, and me and Gio had just done this song called Summertime, about, you know, summer in Seattle, and they had me come out and perform the song on their set at Bumbershoot, and before that I'd never been in front of a crowd that big, and it was just like, you know, some people actually knew who I was when he announced me and brought me out, and I was like, all right, dope. Damn. You know, and then that same night, like, there was like, I remember they were running around, you know, finding all the rappers, you know, that everybody knew, and all had like a big cipher over North by Northwest at the end of the set. And it was crazy, man. I feel like that's where I really felt like it was like, all right, you know, I'd been around already and put out projects, but like that was like where I really feel like, yeah, that felt like it was like a moment, you know. So
when you were starting to leave high school and thinking this was something you were going to take seriously, like what were some of like the Seattle artists that were kind of prominent at the time?
Blue Scholars, Common Market, you know, Boom Bap Project, Unexpected Arrival, 2006. I mean, I don't know. There's always been a lot of guys, but.
And was it easy for you to like start working with them and introduce yourselves to them? Or?
Yeah. I've really never had like really any I've never really had like a lot of difficulty, like, you know, meeting folks and, you know, making music with them. Mm-hmm. Not really.
And where was your first show at?
My first show was actually 2004, January 2004. So this is just a couple. Actually, let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple months after that battle, my buddy Travis Otteson, he was working with the Seattle Young People's Project, and they were doing like an MLK Day hip hop show at the Vera Project, and so he got me on the bill, you know, just to do like a couple songs. So that was my first show I ever did, and I remember I was so damn nervous because like I had never performed any of my like own material, you know, in front of a crowd or anything, but I had hella homies from high school show up and all that. It was good.
Yeah.
But I was so nervous, and John Moore, rest in peace, word sayer, was actually hosting the show that night, and I remember I was just like, I was so nervous, man, and he chilled me out, and you know. Yeah. Right before I went on, he's like, man, you're going to do good. It's going to be fine, man. It's going to be fine. And it was.
So how do you go about, like, when it's your first show, are you just memorizing all the lyrics, or are you kind of just rapping along to your lyrics? Or
I was worried I was going to forget the words.
Yeah.
Because one of the songs I had just, like, recorded, like a couple of days before, I think.
Damn.
So I was like, oh, man. But it went good. It went really good, man. I'm glad I can say, like, my first show experience was, like, It was really great, man, for what it was at the time.
Yeah, and it seems like Vera still kind of holds that same value of like they really give a lot of artists like their first
I'll always have love for the Vera project, man. Just it was definitely definitely important, you know.
So when that project that you sold at school, would you count that as your first project, or would you say that's a school project?
I mean, I would say it's at this point I almost classify it more as like a demo than anything, because none of the songs were like super mixed or mastered or anything. You know, it was a lot of like the kind of rough recordings from the studio. And about a year after that, I put out my first real album at the end of 2005 called This Is What I Do. And
how old were you at that point?
I was 19.
Wow.
I was working on it when I was like 18, 19. And that album actually had like 3 of the songs that were on the school project. The school project was called The 7 Deadly Sins.
Hell yeah.
And so the 7 songs, I was like, oh, I thought it was clever. But yeah, so I think the first like album of mine was around like September 2005 is when that dropped.
And do you remember like your mindset with that first album? Like, do you release an album and think I'm about to go on like a worldwide tour or something as soon as I drop
I didn't really know what to expect. I was just like, wow, I actually completed like a full-length album. I was jazzed because when I was a kid, like, you know, thinking like, wow, you know, all I want is to have my own rap album that I did. And I was like, well, I did that, you know, and I remember that was Bumbershoot 2005. And I remember Common was performing.
Oh shit.
And so they had like, you know, the line, you could go up and meet him and stuff. And I gave Common an album, you know, I was just, and you know, I'm super young. So I'm like, oh my God, I gave Common an album.
Damn.
You ain't never going to listen to that, you know, maybe you did, but I don't know.
Maybe it inspired him.
And then, I mean, that Bumbershoot was actually the first time I ever met Macklemore too.
Oh, wow.
Cause I had actually heard of him.
I'm guessing he was going by Professor Macklemore.
No, he had
switched?
He had dropped his Language of My World album rather recently around that time. And so, yeah, I met him. He was outside of, I think, the exhibition hall where Blue Scholars, I think, and Brother Ali and some other guys were performing. So, yeah, we just chopped it up, and I was just like, you know, I just gave him a copy of my album, you know. And he's like, all right, I'm going to check this out, you know.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's the first time I met him.
So he had, because I thought you guys were like around the same. Is he older than you?
Yeah. Yeah,
he's older than me.
Yeah, I think he's probably about maybe 3 or 4 years older.
Okay.
It's something like that. I don't know for sure.
So he already had a little bit of buzz before you even started making music.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Do you think he remembers that, like meeting you at Bumbershoot?
Probably not like in that detail, but maybe, you know.
Damn. That's super cool. So like, were festivals like that pretty, because I don't even, like Bumbershoot nowadays, I don't really hear that many. Of course, it didn't happen this year, right?
Yeah.
But like,
it's supposed to be back next year.
Hopefully, it was supposed to be back this year, even. So if they say next year,
well, they got like a new group kind of behind it and stuff. But I mean, honestly, man, like, I mean, even just going to Bumbershoot, when I was still in high school or had just graduated high school, I remember just, you know, seeing the hip hop acts there, and then, you know, I remember 2004. Like about a year before, like the year before this, I remember it was like Nas and Public Enemy and, you know, the homie Birdie, rest in peace, was the opener on the Hip Hop 101 portion of it. And I remember just being like, man, this is dope. You know, I was like, I want to play Bumbershoot one day. Like Bumbershoot was like a genuine like goal of mine when I was starting off. Because to me, I mean, I was just like, that seems like where I want to be, you know.
Do you think festivals like that still support artists like they did back then? Because it seems like
back then, that was when Bumbershoot was still kind of, you had national acts for sure, but it was still, local acts could really get it popping there too. And I mean, you know, these festivals still definitely book local acts, but
I feel like it's a little bit more
but I feel like it's different. And I mean, especially, you know, Bumbershoot absolutely became, you know, a bit more corporate as time went on, you know, once One Real sold it to AEG and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I guess that's what happened. It doesn't have to be that way though. I guess I was about to say that's just what happens with all good good things. It comes corporate, but
I mean, yeah, it's the world we live in, I guess.
damn. And then you eventually performed at Bumbershoot. What year was that?
That was 2008. And,
Okay.
yeah, so 05 is when I put out my album.
Mm-hmm.
2006, I just went down and was hanging out, watching some of the homies perform. And then 2007 is when went up and rocked with the Blue Scholars. And then the next year I actually got the call to, actually perform at it. And I was so pumped, man.
And what was it like being like associated with the Blue Scholars at the time?
I mean, it was about as good as, the most any artist, rap, hip hop wise could ask for at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like I love those guys, man. Like, me and Gio are, still real good friends. I mean, he's on my new project. We're still always, messing with music.
He goes by Prometheus Brown.
Yeah. But back then he was Geologic. And I'll always have love for him and Sabzi and just what those guys, did. They really, they cultivated a community and like a scene that allowed like guys like myself to thrive, Macklemore to thrive, the Physics to thrive, just a lot of, yeah, man. Blue Scholars are the shit, man.
Do you believe you're part of that community that helped inspire others though? Are you able to like take that compliment and like
yeah, because I've heard that from multiple younger artists, man. I remember I listened to you when I was in high school and all this kind of stuff, and it's just like, man, that's dope. I mean as an art, to me I feel like, all right, I did my job.
Yeah.
Like dope. Yeah.
Did you ever get, or have you ever felt like jaded towards the Seattle music scene, or even maybe just the music industry?
I think every artist deals with stuff like that at times, but at this point, I have literally no complaints or no gripes or anything about a damn thing, man. I'm in a real good spot with all of this, man, and I'm basically at a point now where I'm like, it feels good because I feel like I'm like, damn, this long and landed in a good place.
Yeah. Has your mindset changed from when you started till now? And did you feel like you had a different trajectory, or are you kind of happy?
Yeah. I mean, well, I think that's gonna, it's inevitable, right? It's just growth, you get, and I mean, my mindset, at 36 is not gonna be the same as it was when I was like 19 or 20.
True.
Like I'm still always down to create and make music and all that kind of stuff, but I don't have like these rap star aspirations and all this kind of stuff that I might have had when I was younger, because but then at the same time I look back on a lot of stuff over the years and I'm like, dang, I kind of did check off a lot of stuff on my bucket list though.
Right.
So
did you ever feel like there was like a blueprint though to like how to become a successful artist in Seattle and maybe eventually leave, or did you feel like
I feel like everybody's journey is going to be different.
Got it.
Like what works for one person is not going to work for the next person. It's kind of like case in point, like when Macklemore blew up, like I feel like so many people had like, were sitting down like trying to like plot and plan and how they were going to do it like that. And I'm like, that's like a one of one type of situation in my opinion.
Right.
I don't think that wasn't going to happen for anybody else in that way, at least, but
did anyone expect that? Like when you were coming up, did you ever expect like that to happen to Macklemore?
I thought the dude was a hell of a performer.
Yeah.
Hell of a performer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were going to ask me, like, if I was like shocked when it happened, no, not really. Right. I mean, it was because you started seeing like the momentum build over time. So,
did you feel like with every project and every year that you had momentum as well?
Yes and no. Yes and no, because I mean, I could even look back on some stuff and be like, maybe I didn't capitalize on this the way I maybe could have or should have, or maybe I didn't, but at the same time, I've enjoyed working on every project I've done. I just enjoy making music, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I'm at, man. If I'm making the music that I enjoy making and I'm happy with how it sounds, I'm good, man. And if other people like it, great.
And that's
You
a
know,
win.
It's yeah,
Hell
pretty
yeah.
simple, man.
So how many projects do you have out for like the audience?
Oh man, I mean, if we count all of those, like even like the high school demo and all that stuff, I mean, at this point, probably like close to 20,
Damn.
something like that, between like all the mixtapes and EPs and full lengths and stuff like that.
That's quite a bit of projects but years also. So you probably saw the evolution of like how, well, not probably, you did see the evolution of like how you went from selling a mixtape from your trunk to going on like music platforms to eventually getting onto like streaming services and
Yeah. And I mean, you listen to my music now compared to when I was younger. You still, there's still like, some constants and stuff, and it's still very much like me.
mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's just more refined and sharp
Mm-hmm.
than it's ever been. I feel like I'm making. Put it like this. I would say like the peak of like my buzz or whatever, hype, hoopla, whatever you want to call it, was probably like around like 2009, 10. When the Volvo thing popped off and all that, and then like went on till about 2012ish, 2013, around those years, probably like that 5-year window when things were probably at their peak,
Mm-hmm.
to me at least, the way I see it. But I like the music I've made since there so much. I like the music I'm making now and all that stuff way more than the music I did when I was buzzing the most.
Yeah.
So
is this the right way or the wrong way to look at it? You're making it. There's no pressure to make it. You're making it because you genuinely want to make
exactly.
it. And that's a healthy way to look at it.
I have no expectations, nothing with the music. I'm just, like I said, man, as long as I'm happy making the music I make, man, I'm good.
So what was that like though, to like see like the transition from mixtapes to DatPiff and Spotify and all those platforms and the evolution?
It's a trip because
Napster.
I feel like, like earlier on, music was less disposable in a way. You get like a physical copy of the CD. Like when I was young, you'd get like the hard copy of the album. I would sit and study the liner notes. I'd be like, find out who produced each track and all that kind of stuff. Read the thank yous, the good old thank yous on rap albums, and like, and just, you would literally sit with like an album for like 6 months to a year, you'd be banging that project. And now at this point, I feel like music's so disposable, man. You'll drop something and man, it'll be gone, as far as like people really like paying attention to it or wanting to check it out. But at the same time, it's always out there. Right. So music is more like accessible than it's ever been, but I also feel like it's also more disposable to people than it's ever been.
Wow, that's actually a good way to think about it. But do you think people hold music to the same value then, like the listener?
Some do, some don't. I mean,
Right.
a lot of artists get popping on TikTok, and like they make like these, 30 second songs,
Yeah.
and just they go viral off that stuff, man.
That's gotta feel like
I'm sitting here trying to like, be like writing like a full length song, and I'm just like, oh man. Yeah, I can't do the 30-second TikTok song, man. But we just live in like I feel like society's attention span is just so short these days, man.
Well, think about it this way. For me, where I spend I put so much time and effort into my podcast.
Yeah.
And then I see someone blow up on TikTok for like posting like the stupidest, like worst video quality I've ever seen of whatever.
Yeah.
And they go viral. Like I feel like that's like a slap in the face to me with like the amount of hours I've learned.
Hours and content and like, yeah.
How does that feel for someone who really came from like the mixtape era to like see someone twerk and drop a 30-second song and the next thing
I'm like, dang man, it's time for me to start twerking? Damn. But no, I mean, it is what it is, man. Just I'm not gonna be sitting back being one of them old heads who's grumpy about it.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to look at it. You just gotta, what is the, you just gotta let it slide over you like a duck or something.
Let it roll off you. Roll right off you.
Roll off you.
Yep.
Damn. So, but then during that mixtape era though, like what were people's like marketing plans? Like, was it just to get it to as many people as you can? And then how did you convince those people to end up going to shows? Because now, right, you could have millions of Spotify listeners, and that doesn't mean you can pull people out to a concert venue.
Man, that's a good point. Because there really is people who have like millions of Spotify listeners who can't put 100 people in a club.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, right?
It's, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Everything just felt. I mean, and granted, you know, I don't know. I honestly don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah.
So like, like for me, like, of course, there's so many like ups and downs with the podcast, and it's like video content. So like, I can shape what people see to like be like, hey, the podcast life is the best life. Type shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like every day I have to think of like the next step, but also I wonder if you felt that you were in like a thriving hip hop community, that it was almost maybe just like destined something to happen maybe. And like you're just you're just following like what's going on, and like because you're a good artist.
Well, yeah, because you know, I mean, it was like back then the mentality was, man, nobody's blown up since Sir Mix-a-Lot. And it was just like, it was just a lot of excitement and camaraderie, you know, like what I mentioned earlier, you know, and just, it just felt like everybody was just excited to be a part of, you know, this local music scene that felt like it was, you know, bubbling on multiple levels. And there's so many talented acts now, but I don't feel like it has that same feeling.
Does not at all.
Even now, you know, which is a shame, but you know, it's how it goes.
But maybe we traded these streams and that monetization from getting that audience, because you guys really were able to pull people. Yeah. And there's so many people in Seattle that have no idea how to pull people, and that's what I say
I can legit be like, look back and be like, I've sold out this venue. Yeah. Packed this house out. You know, all this kind of stuff. Had, you know, a lot of folks come to see me.
Or like, no shade to any of my friends who can relate to this, but like, I have friends that make beautiful music, but they could not go up to a random person and be like, hey, check this out. They're like, I have social anxiety. I can't go up and actually market myself to someone. There's nothing wrong with anxiety.
There's nothing wrong with that, because like, to be honest, I was never that good at that either. Honestly, I really wasn't out there like pushing my CD that much. For better or for worse, based on, you know, how things were at the time. Probably could have done it more, but I honestly, I always felt kind of awkward.
Right.
Hey, what's up, man? You like hip hop? Check out my music.
Just like you open up like you're wearing one of those trench coats. Hey, man.
just got your whole discography inside one side. Oh no, the price is on the other one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
But that is such a weird. Who did I just have on? Travis. So Travis was saying that like this Macklemore and Little Mosey from Seattle, or maybe even Sir Mix-a-Lot, those are just three like anomalies. Is that the right word? Anomalies. Like they're just,
so different,
and like you just can't track it, and like it's just so like it's a weird thing where like you really do have to have a plan if you want to be in media. But at the same time, you see things like that happen, and you're like, "What the fuck? Just can't I just do that?"
What I will say about like all of them though is, regardless if you like the music or regardless however you feel about them, whatever, each one of them did the best version of them that they possibly could.
Yeah.
They all have like, you know, their own little unique thing going on, in my opinion.
No, 100%.
You know? So
that's why you still see that up like north towards like the Everett area of like up and coming artists. A lot of them try to sound like Little Mosey. Like they are so themselves that
trying to emulate.
They try to emulate
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Huh. So like in the early 2000s, was Sir Mix-a-Lot like around the community? Has he always been like a community member? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's always kind of, you know, been around. The first encounter I ever had with him was at the Jake One home music video shoot.
Okay.
And they did the bit, you know, at the start of the video where Mix pulls up to Dick's on Broadway in his orange Lambo and like, you know, drops the 20 on the ground or whatever, and Vitamin D picks it up. That was the first time I ever like encountered like Mix in person. But we didn't even, I was just watching him film this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, he's been around for sure.
Damn.
For sure.
That's so crazy because even like the music videos from that era, like even my Volvo, like Macklemore's in that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Just that, how do you get that community back? Or like, how do you inspire people to want that type of community? Because like I'm saying, like, even if you do form like a solid Seattle music scene where, I don't know if this was as common in the early 2000s or even the 90s, where like hip hop artists are really close with like band members or like comedians are close with hip hop artists or pop artists and all that. Like a lot of the genres know each other at least. So maybe you're starting to see that barrier dissolve.
Yeah.
But then
Like some crossover between genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then even if we solve that, because there is an issue also though, that a lot of these shows are just artists go into each other's shows and then people aren't paying for tickets. So like you're not even making money off the show.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean that you know, that's one thing that I always get a kick out of, right? Like rappers especially. They're like, man, everybody's a bunch of haters, man. They're don't nobody support. And it's like I understand the whole like, you know, you want your peers and your other, you know, music folks to like support stuff, but it's like, dude, why do you want to stand up and just rap for a bunch of rappers?
Right.
Like, man, you're just looking at it all wrong, man.
100%.
You know, like get some actual fans, real fans, because they're out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're out there. You know.
How did you get fans though? Like it's not just from you like being surrounded by like blue scholars. Like I bet when we drop this, your fans are going to come out of the woodwork to like want to check this out. You know what I mean? And like the amount of people that I would not have expected to even know who you are like excited for this one to come out. So
that's dope, man. That's what's up, man.
So, but what is the difference? Like, how did you or anyone in that era, how are they able to actually make an audience want to come out? Because that's something that this era is missing.
I don't know. I really, man, like all I've done is just I've done me the whole time, and things just happen. You know, I've just made the best music I possibly can, stayed true to myself. I'm glad I can look back on my entire discography. You know, I've got some songs where I'm like, you know, just not like oh it sucks, but I'm just kind of, you know, I mean, I don't know, man. Everybody has that stuff.
You don't have a Christmas album though. So
I'm not gonna do a Christmas album, but I mean, you know, I look back and I'm like, yeah, that's me. You know, and I think people pick up on that. People will always pick up on you if you're authentic. It's, you know, the whole saying, you know, it's not on me, it's in me type thing. You know, and people can tell.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point. Maybe working on.
And I'm not saying like artists aren't being real or anything like that.
But there is something to that too. At least there's a little bit of that.
But it's just, I don't know. You just got to tap into like the best possible version of yourself, and just go hard as fuck with that, because people will notice. And
do you stay or try to stay tapped into like what's going on musically in Seattle nowadays?
I try to. I mean, I'm not as tapped in as I probably could or should be, but you know, I definitely see, you know, I mean, there's just always been so much talent out here, but you know, it's just make the music because you enjoy making the music. You know, don't just have. I've seen so many people come and go over the years, and just kind of, you know, was your heart really in this for the right reasons? Right. You know, and at the same time, some people just kind of, everyone gets older, grows out of it, get families, things like that. It doesn't mean that they weren't real about the music when they were doing it or anything like that. Life happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I don't know, just do you. It's simple, and when I say like do you, it's so simple, but it's also not for everybody in ways, as far as I've seen.
Do you feel like your rap self is your true self, or do you feel like, because some people
it's almost like, and sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
Yeah, but I feel like every rapper to an extent kind of has like some kind of little ego and stuff like that, and it's almost like some pro wrestlers, it's almost like and some of them, that's them, but just with the volume turned up a little bit,
like The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock, Stone Cold, all them guys, for sure.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So you said like 2009, 2012. That's where you truly felt like the most you in your music, or
no.
Like
I felt like that was when I was like probably like the most buzz and
Got it.
I guess the most popping, I guess you could say.
So when did you start feeling like the most you when releasing music? Because at first, even me, oh my God, even my first podcast, I was like, yo, this is I went by DJ Blake.
Okay.
I was like, I wasn't a DJ.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is DJ Blake, and you're listening to the hottest hip hop news and sneaker talk podcast. It sounded that was not me. I'm still trying to figure out me. Of course, I'm young, but like, as an artist, you at first you probably want to prove something to your friends and whoever. So for you, when did you start feeling like this truly like represents me?
I would say I feel like I kind of had it dialed in by probably like around the time of my second album, my second Wind. Yeah, 2008. And but I feel like it's been just refined since then.
Right.
But even by then I was pretty comfortable, and I was kind of like, okay, this is Grynch.
Dope.
Yeah.
And were people when you were coming up good at like checking each other, like being like, this is good or this is bad?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who just love having yes men around them though at the same time, Like, I've had my own homies who sometimes been like, I'm not really feeling that, man, this kind of stuff. But it's like, I'm kind of like, all right, maybe I'll go back to the drawing board, or I'll just be like, oh, well, I like it, so I'm just rolling with it.
Hell yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, some people just love to have yes men around them.
And was there ever a point in like your career where you were able to solely focus on music? Like, was there ever a point where you shifted away from having like a day job and solely do music and perform shows, or?
Yeah. I would say it was probably around that time, 09 to like 2012, 2013. Yeah.
And then how would you make it, like, for artists now, what is some advice on like how to do that? Like, when did you know that it was time that you were able to like solely focus on music? Was it just booking more shows, or is it making you knew that as soon as you dropped a project,
you could just kind of feel it. You could feel just like momentum and stuff, and you're like, might as well try to strike while the iron's hot, type thing, So.
And did you ever have like any like conversations, like record deals or anything like that?
Yes. Yeah. There was a couple situations, but nothing ever really like panned out. Yeah.
From like their side or your side, knowing it wasn't a good fit, or what?
It's kind of both.
What is some like advice for people that would like, because a lot of artists
and real quick, like this was back when like you felt like you really needed a label. This was before like the independent artist thing really kind of became more well accepted.
But you check out the Travis Thompson interview. He has a whole, like, we talk about for 20 or 30 minutes like the difference between being independent and independent. Because there's being independent and truly like not even having a publishing deal.
That's hella true.
And then there's independent with having a publishing deal. So I still feel like record label stories are still important for like people to hear. So like for you, for example, like buzz is buzz.
Yeah.
So for you, what would your advice be to people who are thinking about maybe jumping into a record deal, and maybe they might even know it's not a good record deal, but they feel like
they feel like it might give them like the boost that they need to maybe level out in like a better position or something like that?
Yeah.
Get a lawyer. make sure the paperwork's right. That's about all I could really say, man.
Yeah.
Just make sure you don't put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like any Seattle artists like jump into any like shitty deals before?
Man, not off top that I can think of, really. Yeah.
That's pretty solid. A lot of us Seattle people got our heads on straight
I'm sure there's
somewhat.
been that, but I can't think of stuff off top.
Right.
No.
So after the momentum of My Volvo, also, what was it like dropping like My Volvo? Like that is like still anthems for some people.
So that song, it's funny. Because that song is, I mean, you know, I had a little buzz before that and stuff, but that song, like especially when I dropped the video, it went viral, and it just took on a life of its own. And to this day, you know, to a lot of folks, I'm always gonna be the My Volvo guy. You know, it is what it is. You know, I used to be like, man, I got way better songs than that though. You know, but I'm just at this point, I'm just happy I even have one that, you know, cracked off like that.
Yeah,
it's cool with me, and like because I've been driving that car, you know, since I pretty much got my license. And it's funny because, like, I have, like, this vivid memory of being at, like, I was hanging out with my friend Mary Jane. And we were driving, and I was stopped, like, right at the corner of 8th and Market in Ballard. And she said something like, you know, you should write a song about this car someday. You write a song about this car, you know, because it's just, you know, me driving the old school Volvo around.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe, you know. But I remember her saying that. And that was probably like 06, maybe 07. You know, this is a little while before I even, you know, did the song. And then I think on the Kanye West Graduation album, I'm listening to it, and he has the line where he's like, tank on empty, whipping my mama Volvo. I was like, oh, man, all right, I'm gonna start putting this together, man. And that's where it went from there. And then later on, ended up doing the video for that song with Stephen Gray, and put it out, and it just went nuts, man.
That's got to be like one of the top like PNW videos ever. Like that is the most Pacific Northwest video you could ever watch.
I mean, I remember putting it out, and just like it like genuinely went like organically viral. Like there was nothing. I literally just put it up.
Damn.
And like hella Volvo owners, and I mean it's like that cult following. You know what I mean? And then they just it just took on a life of its own, man. And yeah.
So what happened to
Glad I got that one.
What happened to that Volvo? How long did you have it after that?
I still have it.
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's got a couple little problems, but it'll be back. Yeah.
Dang. From 1986, right?
Yep.
What the? Okay, that's
man, them Volvos
insane.
are tanks, man.
Damn.
Yep.
That's wild. So how I listened to your new project was I listened to My Volvo, and then I pressed the album, right? And you're like, born in 86. And then the first song is born in 86. So I was like, oh, that's...
Yeah, that's what it's from, is, you know, my, you know, the line from
I caught on to
Volvo.
that.
And I was in the studio with my guy D-Sane, who I recorded the project with. And, like, I told him the idea, and I was just like, I don't want to, you know, just go in there and say it. Man, we got to dig out the old files from the My Volvo session from back in the day and actually use that audio. So, you know, D dug in the archives, we got it out and put it on the song. And that's the actual, you know, the vocals from My Volvo from back in the day. So,
and that's the only way you can listen to the project. My Volvo, and then listen to Born in 86.
Or you can, I mean, listen to everything else, please, as well.
So what was that like, though, like performing that song, like in concert? That must have been wild.
I've had some wild times performing that. One that comes to mind is like when I put out my Street Lights album in 2014, and for the release party, I sold out the Crocodile, and like all the homies were there, and like I didn't know they were about to come out on stage, for that. And like I'm just performing, all of a sudden all the homies rushed the stage and the place was just going ape shit.
Damn.
Same thing happened when I had the Perspective release party at Numo's, like about a couple years before that. Like, yeah, I performed that song a lot and had some wild times in the midst of it, man.
Damn.
So
it's so true that like people are like, the thing that is gonna go is the thing you're not gonna expect to like hit when it comes to songs.
You know what's funny is Stephen Gray, who did the video, we were gonna do a video for a different song on the Chemistry project that was on. We were gonna do a video for a song on there called Time, and Stephen was like, man, I think we should do it for the Volvo song. And I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, part of me was like, oh man, I don't know. I was just for some reason had like this idea of like, I want to make this kind of, you know, deeper introspective type video, you know, but yeah. I'm glad I didn't.
Damn.
I remember my boy Jihad, who he actually made some beats on that high school project. I remember I was driving with him one day, and and I played him the song, and he's like, man, that's gonna be the one for you. And I was like, you think? He was like, yeah.
Wow.
He was right. So I mean, you know.
Damn.
Yeah, like I said, I'm glad I had one that cracked off like that. At least, man, I'll take it.
Wait, have you named your car? What's your car's name?
I don't got a name.
You don't have a name?
No, I don't have a name.
1986. You don't have a name?
No, I don't have a name for the car. No. Nope.
That's kind of wild. What? Okay.
Sorry, man.
That's funny as fuck.
Maybe I'll start like a thing, like a contest to name Grynch's Volvo.
Ooh, yeah.
Never know.
That could be good.
We'll see.
Holy shit. Damn. So,
yeah.
So, when did you start seeing yourself start to plateau?
I don't know. Maybe probably right around like I wouldn't even really say plateau.
Okay. I'm the worst with words.
I would just say maybe like somewhat inconsistent.
Okay.
It's funny because I feel like I've been like super consistent in a lot of ways, but like I said, maybe didn't go hard in the paint enough for a project like I should have, or you know, wanted to move on to the next one and all that kind of stuff. But like, you know, I've had fun working on every single project I've done. So I don't know. I wouldn't even really say like plateaued as much as just kind of, I've just been comfortable just making the music just to make it, you know, because over time, you know, like I said, I just started like checking off the bucket list more and more, you know. So how about this then? So rap has like always been your life, it seems like. So when did you start like doing things like outside of like rap? Like what are your hobbies now? Well, I was really good at drinking for a long time. And now that I haven't been drinking for about, you know, a little over 2.5 years.
Hey,
like,
hell yeah, man. Congrats.
I appreciate it,
there
man.
We go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, man, I, you know, watch movies, video games, you know.
Yeah, you're a video game guy?
Here and there, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, I'm borderline addicted to MLB The Show.
Yeah.
I've been fucking with the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection that just dropped.
Oh shit!
It has every one of the Ninja Turtle games from back in the day on it. Like
damn!
Like the old Super Nintendo, Genesis, all that stuff. Yeah. You know, I don't know. Kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the biggest thing you nerd out about besides hip hop? Because that would be an easy one.
Probably, you know, professional wrestling.
Okay.
I'm going to SmackDown tomorrow.
Oh shoot!
At Climate Pledge. Yep.
Oh shoot! I didn't even know that was coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Yeah. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard it from some of the cast members. Fuck, I hope this isn't. I don't think this is top secret. But, so, you know, The Rock, he has his show, Young Rock.
Young Rock, yeah.
From my understanding, it leads up to him, like, running for president.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've heard from, like, some of the cast members, but I don't know that's wrong or not?
I mean, well, I think it might in the show. I hope he doesn't actually run for president in real life.
No more celebrity presidents?
No, please no.
Damn. So does hip hop and WWE like go hand in hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of parallels with rap and wrestling.
Break that down for me, because I'm unfortunately not a huge...
I mean, you know, just the competitive nature. I don't know, the sense of humor and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of rappers who are big wrestling fans.
Oh, true.
A lot of them. Like, yeah.
Do you listen to like West Side Gun at all?
Yeah. I know he loves it. I know he loves it. Yeah. Yep.
I know a lot of rappers for whatever reason are into like anime too. So
See, I never really got super into anime.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like Akira when I was like younger, but I never really got like super into anime.
Yeah.
I get it though. Hey man.
Yeah.
People dig it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I wish I knew more about wrestling though, because it seems like that's like people are like diehard wrestlers, and it's been like it's like a thing that like people have grown up with and are still like attached to.
Yeah.
And there's...
I mean, I grew up really... I mean, I saw it growing up, like when I was really young, you know, with like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, all that. But like I was right in the middle of middle school during like, you know, when The Rock and Stone Cold were like at their prime, and just got to like really just live during the time, you know, when WCW and WWE were going head to head on Monday nights and all that kind of stuff. So it's just, yeah.
Does this have the same impact now, or like what is it? Because I know like the Logan.
I don't think it's still insanely popular around the world, but it's not like the, you know, it's not part of like the current zeitgeist, I guess you could say, where it's just like this cultural phenomenon right now. Because that stuff, it was just on a different level back then.
Yeah. I know Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I don't know which one. They just did like an appearance.
Yeah. Logan Paul was wrestling.
Yeah.
He was actually all right for like, you know, I mean,
really?
I'll always dig it if like a celebrity gets into the wrestling thing and actually like gives a fuck and like gives it their all. Like, you know who did that was Bad Bunny.
Oh, really?
Man, he went hard in the paint. Yeah, he came in and had a match, and it was some good shit.
Dang. Wait, so how does WWE work when they're on tour? Is it just like a duo that's fighting, or is it like a whole roster of people that are going up, or how does that work?
I mean, right now they got it like split into like the Raw brand and the SmackDown brand, and then they got like NXT as well. And I mean, they all just tour around. So like who's
coming to Seattle? And like, do you know who the lineup is? Like, are people excited for? I
don't know off top the exact lineup. I know this dude Braun Strowman, who was around for a while, and then he got fired. But now that Vince McMahon's out, he got rehired.
Hell yeah!
So I know he's gonna be there tomorrow. That'll be dope. I always thought he was cool. I don't know if Roman Reigns is gonna be there tomorrow. It's The Rock's cousin. He's like the champ right now.
Okay.
And apparently they're like, at some point they want to build towards like The Rock and Roman Reigns having a match. So yeah, I think it'd be dope.
Wait, so I know this is just gonna ruin it by saying I know it's kind of acted or whatever. So So how do they decide who's gonna like win?
I mean, it's basically a soap opera, man.
Right.
You know, they just plotted out what would be best for the storylines and all that kind of stuff.
So but it also probably depends on like who the audience is most like attracted to or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes they won't give the audience what they want, you know. They'll borderline like troll the audience, you know, stuff like that. So
dang.
Yep. And like to me, like the behind the scenes stuff with wrestling is like crazy fascinating too. Just like the real life beefs that go on behind the scenes and stuff. That's like it kind of bleeds over into like the storyline sometimes. And you know, I'm not one of those guys who's sitting there like, you know, like there's this video that went viral of this guy sitting there crying, talking about wrestling. This is still real to me, damn it. Like, but like there's reality that kind of, you know, bleeds in and out of stuff at times in wrestling, you know.
Hell yeah. Are you into like Star Wars or like Star Trek or anything like that at all?
Star Wars is dope. I've never been real big into Star Trek. Although I saw a documentary, Trekkies.
I haven't seen it. Oh.
It's fire. It's fire. Okay. It's about like these diehard these diehard Star Trek fans, and they like go around and hang out with them at these conventions and stuff. It came out in like the late 90s, I think.
Okay.
I remember seeing it in middle school. I think my homie Ben hooked me up with it, told me all about it, and I checked it out and was like, man, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely way more of a Star Wars guy than
same here.
Than Star Trek.
I never really got into. I guess the new movies are pretty cool though.
Yeah, I haven't
like
seen them.
With the Chris Bryant, you haven't seen?
I haven't seen them.
Oh
no.
shit! I think
Sloughing.
they're pretty
Sloughing.
good because like I don't know. I didn't like since Disney has like taken over Star Wars. I haven't liked Star Wars really as much. I've checked out all this stuff.
I thought Obi-Wan Kenobi was all right.
It was all. I didn't
love it, but there was a lot of I feel like it wasn't perfect, but I still feel like there was a lot to like in it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. I will say I'm happy I watched it, but I wouldn't be like my favorite Star Wars movie is actually Rogue One.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I know a few folks who like really loved Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like, especially if you like go in, because you can that's one of those movies you can watch with people who don't even know anything about Star Wars. Almost it's just like it's almost like a standalone movie.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like a prequel.
Yeah.
And like, it's been out for a while, so I'm just gonna say it. So like, especially if you don't know anything about Star Wars, you're really rooting for the characters, and you have no idea what's gonna happen at the end. Right. But if you're like a true Star Wars fan, you already know what's gonna happen. Yeah. But
it's kind of a dark ending.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I need to actually rewatch that again too. That was
good. I might do it now too because I haven't seen Rogue One in a few years now. So yeah.
That was a fucking good.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you dropped this new album, Born in '86.
Yeah.
And what was the reasonings behind it? Like, you're just ready? Like, do you have like every few years do you drop a project, or like what inspired you?
Whenever I'm really feeling it. I mean, I've done. I mean, since because I did the Street Lights album, but I've done projects before Born in '86. Like I did. I had an EP called On a Good One that was produced entirely by Anthony Danza.
Oh yeah, I still need to meet that guy. That guy's dope. He's on your project too.
Yeah, that's my guy. You should have him on.
Yeah, dude, he's dope.
Great dude. I did the side project, the group project called Greater Than with me and Fierceville from Dime Def, but and Greaves produced the whole record.
Yeah, is that you guys are still like a group, right? Yeah,
we're kind of like inactive.
Okay,
but ain't no beefs or nothing. I love them guys.
That's dope.
And then I did like the gas GAS, which stood for Gallons and Smoke. It was me, my guy Jesus Spades, and my boy Steffo, who I've known since middle school. Just kind of on some G-Funk type stuff. So we got a new EP coming out.
Hey.
So. So I've done like I've had projects drop since like Street Lights back in 2014, but this is my first like solo album in some time.
Was it like scary at all, or?
No, pretty much just felt like most other projects. I mean I because I've been sick because over like the pandemic, because I was working on this project before the pandemic a little bit. I was already kind of gearing up to start knocking out the album. And then the pandemic happened, and I was just like, well, it's going to get interesting. And just kind of, over the pandemic, I started, I was working on this album, and I also put out the Anthology project, which basically like a lost tapes album. Because I went through a whole bunch, found some old hard drives, went back and got unreleased songs from old projects that never came out, and just put them out as a project, and just I stayed decently busy over the pandemic. So I was kind of glad once things kind of started getting somewhat back to normal, I kind of had something to show for it.
Yeah.
So.
And what's your process like when you're deciding that you're about to go back into the studio? Like, are you only writing in the studio, or do you write when you're at your home? Or
I've never been a big write in the studio guy.
Okay.
I like going in the studio with all my stuff pretty much ready to roll and just knocking it out. And I've also kind of never really gotten in like, I don't really get in like these crazy, like, okay, I'm in album mode.
Got it.
I'm always kind of on in a way where I'm always tinkering with something here and there. And then, once I'm start being like, okay, well, this could turn into a project, it just kind of, organically does.
Right.
So
and then when you do songs when you collab with people, are you guys like always in the studio together, or do you ever have people just like send you something?
Sometimes, people send stuff. It's both.
Mm-hmm.
It's both. It's always dope to, be in the studio with the artist, but hey.
Yeah.
If they can just send it, it's a lot easier. Why not? Especially if they're out of town or live far away or something like that.
What about the song with Daz and Cocaine? Were you guys all in the studio together? How did that work?
So the song with Daz and Cocaine, here's the story behind that one.
Hell yeah.
So my guy Boombox Massacre, that song was actually off of his production album, which he put out a few years back, but it's finally just now about to be on the streaming services. But he had gotten Daz on that song, and then I knew Cocaine, and so I helped get Cocaine on the song, and we actually recorded Cocaine's part over at Greaves' studio.
Oh wow.
So yeah, and me and Jesus is in Gas with me and Steffo, and let's knocked out our verses, and that's how that one came together. So like we were there with Cocaine, but Daz had already just sent his stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Cocaine's a cool dude, and he's
a legend, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that was. Yeah,
he's
always been nice to me.
He's seen a lot, man.
Oh, yeah, he has.
Seen a lot.
And he knows a lot of people too. It's just
yep.
That's the camaraderie that we're missing.
Yeah, legend, man. I mean, just even getting to work with him was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Like my guy Red Dog kind of linked us up a few years back because Cocaine and me linked up. And did a song called "On a Good One" on the Streetlights album.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Danza actually did the beat,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's been cool ever since, man.
Hell yeah,
yeah, good dude.
And have you ever dabbled in like producing it at all?
I've tinkered with a couple beats,
yeah,
but who knows? Maybe I'll have to hit up some of my producer homies and be like, all right, man, I'm at a point I really want to see what's up with making beats.
Beat tape coming soon. Yeah, Grynch.
Probably not. But
damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy that you haven't like, I feel like you haven't like given like a meaning to the name Grynch though. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes people's names don't mean much, but I feel like over like a few decades it would kind of mean something after a while. I don't know. No?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know. My boy T calls me Brother Grynch Hung.
Dude, I would die to have. Dude, they said yes. Brother Lynch said yes to coming on the podcast, and then he ghosted me.
Oh, man.
He ghosted me. I'm saying that now to the camera.
Lynch, you got to get on here. I don't know if you'll see this, but
I wasn't.
Come talk to my guy.
I randomly came across his music when I was like in 6th grade.
Yeah.
So I was like, what, 12 or something, listening to horrorcore music?
Yeah. No. I was about the same age. I got hip to Lynch in 6th grade. There was this kid who I was in art class with. Was like, you ever heard of Brother Lynch? I'm like, nah. And he put me onto the Season of the Sickness stuff.
Yes!
And then he had a song called That's What I Said off of it was on his Loaded album, but I hadn't heard that album yet. But I had the Master P, the West Coast Bad Boys 2 compilation, and That's What I Said was on it. And I was just like, man, this is fire.
Have you checked his like Manable Lecter albums out?
Yeah, the stuff on Strange.
Yeah. Those, honestly, those are amazing.
Brother, another legend, man. Yeah, he's dope, man. He's dope.
Yeah, it's cool how a lot of like I guess we're kind of on the West Coast. I guess Seattle, does that count as?
Yeah.
So like
top of the West, man.
Yeah. So like it's cool to see like how California kind of bleeds into Seattle a little bit.
A lot of them guys are up here a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine's a perfect example.
Yeah, he lives up here.
Yeah. That's wildness.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? Like, are there any like concerts coming up? I know didn't you just get put on a KXP playlist or something?
Yeah, they added the album to the pretty much the rotation, so got that over there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean I actually just got added to the Sugar Free show at Nectar on Sunday night. I'm just doing like a short set at that, but it'll be good.
Dude, I want to come to that.
Yeah.
What the heck? Hell yeah.
Yeah. So he's another one. I love Sugar Free, and but I'm probably gonna do like a headlining show, kind of something like to kind of commemorate this album at some point, you know, before it gets too far out.
Well, when you do it, I want to come.
No, you already know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like the album.
Thanks,
I like
man.
it. Have you been getting pretty good reception about it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that album is it's been really good feedback. And like every one of the features on there is like, they mean something to me. You know, these are people that like I hold in like a super high regard, you know, from, you know, doing a record with Mix a lot was just, you know, being from Seattle. I mean, I've known Mix for years at this point, but just, you know, that he would even be down to, you know, bless a track with me was just, that meant the world to me.
Paper Route.
Yeah.
Is that your guys? So that's your first song together with him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Really? That was good chemistry though. I literally felt like
yeah,
you guys had been.
I mean, I've been in the studio with him before that, but that was not even hit. I actually I had a song on my Streetlights album called Paradise, and Aaron Jones played guitar on it.
Oh shit.
And so we went over to Mix's house to track Aaron's guitar parts.
That's legendary.
And so that was a good day too, man. And I mean, you know, Boom Bap Project is on there, you know, Northwest Hip Hop OGs, just it was great to knock out a cut with them, you know. LaToya Williams, one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard in my life, you know. Having her on the record was great. You know, the song with Badass, like we did that a couple months before he passed, you know, and I was bummed that, you know, because I think we wanted to do a video for that one at some point, you know, get him up here or something, and then he passed. And
damn, do you think that's like one of his last features then?
Probably was one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, we did that like right about like a month and a half before he passed.
Wow.
So he's another one. I mean, I've been a fan of his ever since I heard him, you know, with Snoop and them when I was a kid, you know, and then he's on the Machiavelli album with Pac, and just, you know, I'm just happy to, you know, even be able to be on songs with these, you know, it's not even like getting these features because I feel like this is going to get it popping. Like I just have so much reverence for these artists that it's just dope to, you know, make music with them.
You telling stories about like your come up and still being happy that you're making music. I feel like that's inspiring, and also just.
Oh, I've got stories for that. We can come back and do this again.
How about
I feel
this?
like we haven't even scratched the surface about some things.
Not even close. What is what's your craziest Macklemore story?
Man, I don't know if it's necessarily like crazy, but I was on like this time crunch for my second win, my album, and he was supposed to do a verse on it, and he got me the verse for the song If Only like the night I was about to take it to mastering. And like cause I had to get it sent out like right away, you know, because I had already had my release party. I was not planning ahead, you know what I mean? I had to get these CDs pressed up and get them back in time for the release party. It was about a month out, and yeah, he got me the verse like the night I was taking it out to my guy D-Sane to get it mastered.
Damn.
Yeah.
Procrastinator.
Yeah. But he came through.
Hell yeah.
He came through. Yeah, I can't really think of any like crazy ass stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, he's left me some funny voicemails at times. I don't know, man. Just
Do you have any like, who is someone outside of Seattle that like you were a fan of and then like you finally met? Like what's like the craziest story of like a fan moment and you actually ended up meeting that artist?
Well, I would say Warre G.
Okay.
For sure. We met. This is crazy. Like, back in like 2009, because when I was a kid, like the Regulate album, like I had that on cassette when I was a kid, and that was one of like the albums that really got me into hip hop. And this is like 2009, something like that. Warren was on Twitter, and he was like, you know, hey, I'm looking to work with new artists. You know, send music here if you want to. You know, I'm gonna check it out. And I just sent him like, you know, 2-3 songs. Just like, what do I got to lose? And then I was just like not expecting to hear anything back. Then I just get like an email back later that night, and it's like, hey, this is Warren. I like your style. Call me.
Damn.
And I was like, what the fuck? So, and then we've been cool ever since, man. He's, you know, that guy's definitely one of my, like, you know, big inspirations and like childhood heroes and stuff, you know, and like, just great dude, man. Another legend who's like responsible for a lot in just not West Coast, but just hip hop, period, you know.
Hell yeah.
Just, you know, without him, you know, who knows where Snoop Dogg would be and stuff like that, you
100%.
know. So
regulators.
Yep. So yeah, just definitely how just randomly just met him on some just organic shit, you know, just was like, all right, I'll send you my shit. And he was fucking with it, and it's been cool ever since. You know, we did the tribute to Nate with Wands and Critical. And,
shout out Wands. I love you, Wands.
My guy Wands, my guy Critical. That song was dope to me too, because I almost got to knock out like 3 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
With that one, because like me and Wands got to do a song together. Me and Warren did the song together, and then Critical was on there. And Critical is my guy, and he dropped the album back in 2005. One of my favorite Seattle rap records ever. It's called Critical Condition. And yeah, that was just a good experience, man. Just getting to go, you know, do the video and everything, man. It was just dope.
Yeah, you've honestly had a very inspiring, crazy career, man. Seriously, like.
Like I said, I feel like I'm Forrest Gump sometimes.
Yeah,
that's why I said it on one of the songs on this album, like something 206 Forrest Gump. Because I really sometimes I look back at like all the little funny, quirky things that have happened over the years, and I'm just like, man, life's a trip, man.
What keeps you in Seattle?
It's home, man.
Yeah,
I like it. You know, family's here, and just, you know, it's changed a lot. But I love it here, you know. There's nothing like it, you know. As much as, you know, there's we were talking a little bit earlier, you know, certain things here and there where it's just kind of like, okay, there's things that I loved about Seattle are not there anymore, you know. I swear, like, things that have been around for years and all that kind of stuff, they start disappearing more and more as time goes on. But I don't know. I guess that's just the nature of the beast, huh?
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Dude, you're like, you know how wild it is to like watch an interview of someone from like 12 years ago and then talk to them. Right? That is just such a crazy experience. That is so wild. There's not a lot of artists who have had like interviews like that I've interviewed at least that have carried on for so long, you know. So that's so it's like that is insane. Let's think about that. Like you're just watching someone as like they grow up in music, and then you're like next to them. Talking right now, that's kind of a trip.
I look like, for real, like I look back on a lot of stuff, and like I found myself like, you know, be it even from my perspective, you know, like looking up to guys like a Warre G or like a Brother Ali and all these kind of guys, and then like next thing you know, you're just like homies with them, and it's just like, what the fuck? Life's weird.
You gotta get him. You know, Brother Ali has a podcast.
It's good. It's really good.
You gotta get on it. I tried to get on it. And he said, I'm busy. Okay.
You hit him up to be a guest on it?
Yeah, I wanted to be a guest, and I wanted him to come on my show.
Hey man, I'm sure he has he's super backed up, I'm sure, man.
I could see you on it though.
Maybe one day.
One day, man.
We'll see. He's a good dude. I got super love for Ali, man. Great guy.
It's just so crazy, like how like there's so many different generations of artists from the West Coast or the East Coast that just come to Seattle and like have like hold Seattle as like a special place in their heart. You know what I mean? It's like, even if we don't have artists that are like popping off like every other day, like it seems like for the majority of people in the entertainment industry, Seattle holds some type of special place to them.
It's like a weird little hub. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's changed a lot, you know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some of that old thing back.
I think so. It happens with like people like you being open and transparent and open. It happens with people willing to connect with each other, you know? Yeah. It's community. It's camaraderie. Yeah. It's a good word. Yeah. What would you say is some final advice that you have for up and coming artists, creators, influencers?
Do it because you love it. It's really that simple. Yeah.
And what is the easiest way to reach you?
You're talking about like Instagram and everything. I mean, yeah, Instagram, Grynch 206, GRYNCH 206.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. Twitter too, you know, Facebook.com/Grynch Music. You know, I'm around.
Check out his new album.
Born in 86. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. This is the NAST podcast with...
Oh, yeah, my name's Grynch. I'm Grynch.
And we did it.